Chapter 16. I am the flame. I am the rage. The winds howled across the desolate landscape, carrying with them the sharp scent of blood and death. Terence stood alone, his chest heaving as he tried to steady his breath. His surroundings were barren, just a vast, jagged plain of rock and ash. But there was a tension in the air, a palpable weight, as though something watched him from the shadows. Cerberus, his loyal companion, was nowhere to be seen, and Terence's heart clenched. He wasn't sure what this trial was meant to be, but he knew it wouldn't be easy. The light from the setting sun barely cut through the darkness as the ground beneath his feet trembled. Suddenly, a low growl broke the silence. From the shadows, a figure emerged, a massive beastman, his fur matted with grime and blood. He stood over 10 feet tall, his body covered in scars, his muscles rippling beneath his rough, tawny fur. His claws were like daggers, and his eyes gleamed with an eerie, unnatural light.
The beastman snarled, revealing a row of razor-sharp teeth. "You think you are strong, boy. You are nothing but a candle waiting to be snuffed out. Your rage will not save you here."
Terence's hands clenched into fists. The beastman's words, however venomous, struck a chord deep within him. He could feel the anger welling up inside him, the years of pain, loss, and struggle that he had buried deep within his heart. This was his trial, a test of his rage, of how far he could push it before it consumed him. The beastman lunged, a blur of speed and ferocity. Terence barely managed to roll out of the way as the beastman's claws scraped the earth where he had just been standing. The force of the attack shook the ground beneath them, sending a shockwave through the air.
Terence gritted his teeth and pushed himself to his feet, his eyes narrowing in determination. "I'm not running from you," he muttered under his breath.
"You should," the beastman hissed, his lips curling into a wicked grin. "Because when I'm through with you, there will be nothing left but a broken shell. Your rage won't save you."
Terence's heart raced as the beastman charged again, his claws extended like spears. The air shimmered with the force of the attack. Terence parried with all his might, but the beastman was too fast, too strong. The beast's claws slashed across his chest, tearing through his leather armor like it was paper. Blood sprayed from the wound, and Terence staggered back, barely keeping his balance.
"You see, you're weak," the beastman taunted, swinging his massive fist into Terence's side, sending him crashing to the ground. Terence gasped, the air knocked out of him. His body screamed in pain, and for a moment he thought about giving up. The beastman loomed over him, ready to deliver the killing blow. "I told you, you will fall here. I am the rage that will consume you."
Terence's vision blurred as he coughed up blood, his body trembling from the strain. The darkness around him began to close in, and for a moment he thought it might be over. But then something changed.
"I won't die here," Terence whispered, his voice barely audible over the sound of the beastman's laughter. "I won't fall here. Not now, and certainly not to you."
A deep, primal roar erupted from within him, a sound that seemed to shake the very foundations of the world. His body flared with a pulse of raw power, his blood boiling with fury, the rage that had always been a part of him. The anger he had fought to suppress was now free, unleashed in full force. Suddenly, black and red flames exploded around Terence, engulfing his body in a violent, infernal blaze. The flames flickered like the fires of hell itself, swirling around him with a life of their own, as if responding to his inner turmoil. The ground beneath him cracked, and the air grew hot and thick with the scent of sulfur. The beast-man hesitated for a moment, a flicker of doubt crossing his face. But that was all the opening Terrence needed. In an instant, the flames around him solidified, wrapping around his body like molten armor. Demonic, jagged plates formed around him, binding together in an eerie black and red suit of fully plated armor. The flames wove through the armor, emanating from within, as though the very armor itself was alive with the power of his rage. Terrence stood, fully encased in the demonic armor, his eyes glowing with an intense, fiery light. The beast-man's snarl faltered, but Terrence's voice cut through the air, calm and deadly.
You wanted rage? You wanted fury? Terrence growled, his voice distorted by the demonic resonance of the armor. Then come and feel it.
The beast-man roared in fury and charged, but Terrence met him head-on. His movements were faster than before, his power now exponentially greater. With a swing of his armored fist, he connected with the beastman's chest, sending the massive creature crashing backward with a bone-shattering impact. The ground beneath them trembled as the beastman struggled to rise, but it was clear that the tables had turned.
The beastman's eyes widened in shock. What are you?
I am the flame, Terrence replied coldly, his voice now a deep, guttural growl. I am the rage?
With a final, thunderous roar, Terrence charged. The beastman tried to block, but the power of Terrence's strikes was too much. Each blow landed with the force of a battering ram, and soon the beastman was on the ground, groaning in agony. Terrence raised his fist one last time, the flames around him burning brighter than ever before.
You were never my equal, Terrence said, his voice dripping with disdain.
With a final, crushing blow, he sent the beastman crashing into the ground, unconscious and defeated. The flames around Terrence began to subside, the infernal armor slowly retracting back into the ground as he took a steadying breath. His body was battered and broken, but his spirit burned brighter than ever. He had faced his inner rage, and he had come out victorious. He looked around at the barren wasteland and grinned, a fierce, fiery light in his eyes. I won't be beaten by anyone, he said, his voice filled with determination. Not now. Not ever. The trial had ended, but for Terrence, the battle with his own rage was far from over.